Boom! Happy Wine Wednesday.
Boom! Happy Wine Wednesday! Yoo! Hey, that's the joy of the live TV. Hey, welcome, ladies and
Cheers.
gentlemen. Hey, Canadian wine lovers, Carl's Wine Club members, happy Wednesday. This is Wednesday Wine Happy Hour across the country. Talking Canadian wine, talking world class Canadian wine. Wow, we have a great show today. I am so thrilled. We're going to be live with Ted Kane, owner, winemaker of Riverstone Winery, located in Oliver, BC, in now 13-minute time. So 5:15, we're going live with Ted. So it's going to be great. I can't wait to pick his brain about his philosophy on meritage, about how the heck does he do that Sauvignon Blanc, because I was absolutely, I fell off my chair when I tasted that Sauv Blanc. 93 points, pretty highly. Like, this is the best Sauvignon Blanc I tasted this year by a mile. So can't wait to chat with Ted about that. Before we talk Riverstone Estate Winery, let's chat about Syrah. Let's recap a little bit, because last Wednesday, a week from now, like a week in, yeah, exactly a week today, it was our crazy live marathon where we tasted 33 Syrah, 30 Canadian Syrah and 3 international. So yeah, it was a heck of a live marathon. We tasted some amazing, some that I already knew, some new stuff, some stuff who absolutely blew me away. To be honest, not a whole lot disappointed me. Live marathon where we tasted 33. So, Mira, I'm not sure if you hear me, but I'm getting some feedback here. So we'll see. Hey, Lisa's just joining, just tuned in. Lisa, this is great that you're tuning in tonight, Lisa, because if we're featuring Riverstone this week, it's because of you and Jared. You took us out there last year when you came to visit, and
Yeah, summer.
we fell in love with the product. We fell in love with the family, the wines, the winery. So here we are today featuring their amazing wine to Canadian wine lovers across the country. With Mira, how's it going? How are you today?
Great, great.
Yeah.
Yes. Sorry about the feedback. I was just
No,
getting my set up.
that's all good.
Yeah. So that's thanks to Lisa and Jared. We went touring around last year and they showed us some of their favorite spots. And this was one of them. And we'd never really, I don't think we'd heard of Riverstone before that. Hey, Carl?
No, it was yeah, it's not like right on the Highway 97, and it's not on the Black Sage Bench. So it's kind of in between, like literally in between the two main road when you do the wine touring. So it's off the beaten path a little bit. Just outside of Oliver, like on the outskirt of Oliver. I've heard about them before, but no, I had never tried them. I remember the kids were with us. There's that nice little creek going on the property. The kids were playing with the dogs, and it was hot. It was hot when we were there. It was like something like 38 degrees.
Yeah.
And yeah, remember their white Merlot sparkling clearly. So, and
cool. Clay's saying Riverstone was the first club they joined from BC.
there you go. There you go. And
Clay now runs something called BC Wine Review, so that's pretty cool.
Yeah,
started a good trend. It got you off on the right foot.
absolutely. And you know what? And the timing was absolutely perfect in the sense that right into the family long weekend, when we launched the feature on Monday was Family Day, and what's best on Family Day to launch a family-owned winery, small little estate, truly family run, and I thought it was like just so spot on in terms of timing, and the wines speak for itself. And what I like also, it's the difference, like they are different from what we're used to see from Oliver. You know, there's that rocky minerality into that very specific site where they're located. They're right on this just on the riverbed of the Okanagan River. So really rocky and sandy soil. So very different soil of what you have on the Black Sage Bench on one side and on the Golden Mile on the other side. So unique approach, unique taste, and these wines are really, really awesome. So I can't wait to chat with Ted now in 8-minute time. So it's going to be pretty cool.
Well, you know what? He's already here, so we can get started. He's in the green room, and it's pretty neat. Paula is on, and she says she's a member at Riverstone, and the Sauv Blanc is in her glass as we speak. Paula, I have a thing for Sauv Blanc now. Like, the more I think about it, the more I think it's one of my favorite varietals, and that is just like succulent. It's so good. It's one of the best. And Carl agreed with me, so I know I'm not the only one.
Well, not only I agree with you, Mira, but when I tasted it, I was absolutely like I fell off my chair in the sense that the texture was so creamy, but also the purity of the fruit was outstanding. We are not into that New Zealand Sauv Blanc pattern. It's something really unique, and I have to say, I think that's truly the South Okanagan style of Sauvignon Blanc. And this is probably like, well, this is for sure 100% the best Sauv Blanc that I tasted this year by a mile. And you know, that's the funny part. Like, it's the highest rated wine that I rated in that very pack. So I can't wait to dissect a little bit more each and every wine with the creator, if I can call him that way. But yeah, Ted
Kane, yes. So he's in the green room. So Ted, I think, well, he'll tell us all about it, but I think he came to this in a very interesting way, because he was not a winemaker, although he'd been making wines in Edmonton since his teenage years. But he was in the medical field. So I'm really fascinated by how this came about. I can't wait. So here comes Ted.
Here you go.
Hi, guys.
Hey,
Ted, good evening. How are you doing today?
I'm doing great. How are you guys doing?
Oh, living the dream, living the dream. You know, we thought that the spring was already arrived, but today was a little bit of a reminder that not yet, not so fast. Even in the Okanagan, it turned a little chilly again today, right?
Yeah, I think we have to wait another week, it looks like. So keep our fingers crossed. We're looking forward to it too. So yeah.
Are you going to be part of the Winemaker Cup next week? This upcoming weekend? Are you going to Boulder skiing with all of the Okanagan wine industry?
Yeah, we'll see. I'm hoping to get up there. I've got bottling coming up right away here, and I'm just doing some final adjustments. So looking to get up there, but we'll have to see how things go.
Yeah. So bottling. So that's mean that you were able to get your hands on some glass, because you know what? We're talking with many people across the country. We had one of the conversation with some of our people in Ontario today, and it's panic out there right now. People are stocked with stuff in barrel, in tank, and they're just waiting for the glass.
Yeah, we had the same issues. You know, half of our glass was going to arrive on time, and half wasn't. And but I just got an email just 2 days ago that said the red glass showed up, so the red wine gets to go in the bottle too. So all good.
Oh,
hey, you know what? The day of skiing can wait.
Yeah, for sure.
So great.
Yeah.
So
we do part of our bottling in the reds just this time of year. We'll put the Cab Franc and the Malbec in the bottle this next week, and then in the fall we'll do our major run of red bottling. So these like the Cornerstone and the Stone Throw get bottled in the fall, 18 months in French oak, and the Cab Franc and the Malbec get 14 months. So just a little bit different, but got to have it ready for everybody that's waiting for it. So It's all good.
Ted, I have a question for you to start. How many cases production the winery goes through every year, ballpark?
Yeah, we're between. We'll run through between 4,000 and 5,000 cases each season. We did 4,700 cases last year.
That's a great number when we were looking at 9.5 acre of your property. But also, I just seen that you guys are starting to harvest a new vineyard, the Boulder City Vineyard. So
That's
tell me a
correct.
little bit more about this acquisition.
Yeah, so we bought that about 3 years ago now, and it's just a property that's just sort of across the road from us. You know, close enough to drive a tractor across. And it's another 10-acre parcel. It was planted. It's about 16 to 20-year-old vines planted in there as well, and mostly Cabernet Franc, Cabernet Sauvignon, some Syrah, and some Viognier. But we've done some conversion of Viognier over to some Sauvignon Blanc, and we still have Viognier though as well.
So when the Syrah gets to maturity, the Viognier, so I'm seeing here a little bit of Syrah co-fermented Viognier in the future.
Yeah, that's a possibility. It's one of my thoughts for sure. Yeah, I've got a very special wine in mind for that too. Yeah.
That is cool. That is cool. We just did International Syrah Day last week. I had the privilege to taste 33 Syrahs from all over the country into a 6-hour live marathon. And I put some French, I had some Côte Rôtie in there. I had some Crozes Hermitage, some McLaren Vale, some Chilean as well. And when we taste what we're doing here in the country, we are producing some absolutely world-class Syrah. And I think your spot that where you're at, it's top notch.
Yeah, 100%. Couldn't agree with you more. We can do it here for sure.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Let's get back there, because I would love our people, our members across the country to know a little bit more about your story, because it's a very unique story. It's not every day that I spent 17 years in Calgary, and from all my years working in the wine business, I never thought of growing grape in Calgary. So you're probably one of the only one that I've ever read about that was growing grape in Edmonton. All the place, for God's sake, please. Take me back to your days in Edmonton while you were planning your dream.
Okay, that's the story. Yeah. So I started making wines when I was about 17 years old. Started out with the fresh fruit that I could find, anything I could scrounge up, crab apples and rhubarb and apples and pears. The wines are marginal, but I went on to, when I was avidly reading every winemaking book I could get my hands on. And I was learning about, that quality comes from the best fruit and from the best grapes in general. So I went on to making wines through kits, and then I found that the kits weren't exactly what the books were telling me as far as the highest possible quality as far as the chemistry in them went. So I started sourcing out grapes. I went to the Italian markets. That was a lot of fun. Great energy, great atmosphere. And grapes coming in from California, and still the quality wasn't up to what the books were telling me. So started out coming out to British Columbia and going to the wine festivals and sourcing out the grape growers and chatting them up in the vineyards and then harvesting my grapes. And I'd travel back to Edmonton with a carload full of grapes each fall and go to my basement and start the winemaking. And so that's kind of how the winemaking started out and the journey. And I was in clubs and guilds But in Edmonton, I had a house, and I knew that one day I was going to have that vineyard in the Okanagan, the best place in all of Canada to grow grapes, by the way, I believe, according to me. Anyway, so I would come out here and get my grapes, travel back, but at the meantime, I had to learn about the pruning, trellising, training. And so I decided I would build a greenhouse on my end of my garage. And so I purchased about 13 vines from a nursery in Eastern Canada. And I had it all set up with automated watering and everything. And I was learning to prune. And so it was a lot of fun. I did actually get product grapes off those grapevines. I can't say I ever had enough to make a whole lot of wine out of, 13 vines doesn't go too far, but it was the journey and the adventure that was so much fun, and it makes an interesting story for sure.
And which grape varietal was that you, in your garage? Like, what were you growing?
Well, I ended up buying Merlot and Pinot Gris, because I knew those would be a couple of varietals that was really interesting to me. So yeah.
Well, and you know that from the Okanagan, that's probably the two main grape varietal that we're growing out west here. Was in the white, so that on the Pinot Gris and the Merlot, that is the most widely grown grape. So yeah, you cut your teeth on the right varietal pretty early on, but you found that piece of land that you were looking for a long time, and a very special piece of land. When you look back, and now you found that piece of land in 2009, if I read correctly. But now, what, like 12, 13 years later, looking at your vineyard, is, if you have to go back, would you choose a different place at what you have now?
So Carl, it was actually back in 2001 that we traveled out here. My wife had just finished up her schooling, and she was finishing up a little bit of her residency. And so 2001, I was really worried all the good land was going to be gone. So I was chomping at the bit. I was, if I could have got out here 5 years sooner, I would have loved to. But you know what? This piece of land wouldn't have been available. So here it was, raw land in the heart of grape growing central, the Napa of the North, Oliver. We're just outside of Oliver, and it was 9.5 acres of land. It was situated, like you had mentioned, along the South Okanagan, or along the Okanagan River. We rise about 45 to 50 feet above the river, and we're on one big pile of rock and gravel, and all south facing. So I've got southeast, south, and a southwest aspect on this big hill that I've got here. And so the sun comes up, rotates around the property, one big heat sink, and it is absolutely the perfect area for growing grapes. I've got this aquifer that flows underneath the property, the best water in the Okanagan, and so here we are in grape growing central. It's perfect.
Absolutely. And tasting the wines now, you're what, 12, 13 vintage in, because I think your first vintage was 2011. So we're 10 vintage in now. And there's probably some very special vintage into there, like the first one very special, and like maybe the number 10 is very special. But which year would you say that Mother Nature gave you textbook, everything that you were expecting without compromise? Which vintage were the textbook vintage that you were looking for?
I would say that 2015 was probably the easiest year to grow grapes. Anybody who was growing grapes had a great chance to make great wines that year. It was an earliest bud break ever. So normally my bud break is around the 20th to the 30th of April, but that year it was April the 10th. And so that got us off to a good start. Lots of heat in May, beautiful summer all summer long. And then we actually had our harvest done, all of our harvesting done by the 1st of October that year. And that is unheard of. Normally, the harvesting of the reds sort of starts in October, finishes around the 2nd or 3rd week in October. But that year, all the harvesting, all the reds were done by October 1st. We had a great chance to make some great wines, and they're in the bottle, and they have been outstanding. We're growing in the best area of Canada, and I have to say that we get a real consistency of vintages too. With the dry desert conditions, we can impart the right amount of water at the right time. That's super important, I believe, to growing high quality grapes. And high quality grapes are what you need to start off to try to make some great wines.
I think you mentioned a key term here. It's consistency, right? And now where you're at in the cycle of life of your winery, that's what you can hit. I think you hit your stride as a winemaker, and you have a very defined style. And for me, tasting your wine, I can relate from the Malbec to the Stone Crow. And when I hit the Cornerstone, I can see that progression in between the wines and the connection between them. So if you have to describe your winemaking style, how would you describe the wine that you're making?
Well, I always want to showcase the fruit, and I always want to showcase the growing conditions or the land that it came from. We're trying to represent a certain type of terroir, and we're going on rocky, gravelly soils. So we want that minerality to show through. We want We want to showcase the fruit. We don't want to hide it. We don't want to hide it with oak. We want to accentuate it in our whites and our rosés. We want bold. We want to really capture that. So like you had mentioned, I do a Bordeaux style with the grape varietals that I'll go with, the classic varietals, but also I like a New World style where I really love the fruit. And so that's kind of my ideas.
And when I taste Stone Crow versus Cornerstone, I got a little bit more at the restrained, precise, focused minerality on the Stone Crow. And when we get to the Cornerstone, I get the bolder fruit. I got a little bit more the California style. So is it a little bit the way you wanted to express that, or it's more the fruit to totally give that expression to you?
Well, both those guys, like what I wanted to do with those two Bordeaux style blends, I wanted one that was more right bank or Merlot dominant. I wanted more sort of left bank with Cab dominance. So here on our vineyard, we used the Cabernet Sauvignon and the Cabernet Franc to give it that Cab dominance in the Cornerstone. And then, of course, the Cornerstone has all 5 of those grape varietals in it, the classics. And then the Stone's Throw has 4 of the classics, and it is more Merlot dominant. So that's where it all kind of starts from. And then, but I totally agree with you, as far as those Bordeaux characteristics that you're picking up on it.
Absolutely. And like that minerality shines through. And I got that into the Malbec, and the Sauv Blanc get that little salinity that I got in the finish. So to me, if I close my eyes, that definitely get me to the terroir. That's the soil that you're sitting on, shining that minerality. And I think that's very unique to your very own vineyard, because when you look around, like that rocky soil, that's not what is dominant around you. I think you're pretty unique in your own on your own spot.
Yeah, I think where we are unique. We've got a real rich minerality. I could pick up, and I was going to actually bring in some rocks for you guys to look at, but they have this, there's like a frosting of calcium carbonate over top of them. It's just like they were coated with calcium, and you can just pick that up in the wines. I mean, it just brings a minerality that's just, priceless, and, it's hard to achieve. But yeah, you know what? I think that a big part of terroir is water. Like our aquifer brings all those minerals to the surface, right? And then we're, imparting those to the grapes. So, it's something you don't hear about, but I mean, just think about grapes. There's so much water in them, and they're making that great grape juice. And so, yeah, so that's where it comes from, and this is where we get it. Yeah.
More and more, we're starting to see Malbec. Malbec is getting a little bit gaining traction from the south of the Okanagan. Your Malbec has that beautiful violet, flowery, and a little bit of that bacon. That's that smoky bacon in the middle. But again, that minerality. How many cases of that Malbec do you produce? It's like, let's say, like from the 2019 vintage.
So the full red Malbec that you're talking about, I'd say not enough, but I'm going to make more. So because it always goes super fast, it's one of our first to sell out. But so we've sort of been ramping up our production. This year, I'm going to be bottling close to 250 cases this spring. Next week, we'll bottle that. But I've been anywhere between, 100 cases and about 250 cases kind of consistently. And I'm planting some more Malbec this year. Actually, we're waiting for some vines that'll come in April, and we'll be planting another full acre of Malbec. And so more good things to come for sure.
No, definitely. And we see on our side, it's in demand more and more. So what I'm seeing here, the 2019, we've been receiving a lot of sample from the 2019 vintage, especially on the big reds. They're coming out more and more right now. I'm very impressed with that 19 vintage. It reminds me a little bit of the 2016, but there's a consistency on that 2019 with like ripe fruit. So what is your take on the 2019 on your side?
Yeah, 2019 was a little bit of a cooler vintage comparatively to some. And so I think what happened that year is we had a little bit of higher acidity in the final product. And so I think that acidity is what's helping it to age into the future. It's got great mature tannins, and you can over extract Malbec pretty easily in the fermentation, but if you don't do that and you've got the right acid balance to it, you can make a really nice wine that'll, I think that's what's showing now from that vintage for sure.
Yeah, no, that's for sure. And 2018 Cornerstone. I want to talk about it because it's your flagship wine. That's your card, right? And so, what makes Cornerstone special in your eyes?
Well, so Cornerstone, it was that wine that before I moved out here, I wanted to build a classic Bordeaux style blend. So I had all 5 varietals growing on the property. Actually, I had 4 varietals at that time. I was missing the Petit Verdot, but I grafted that one in 2012. So, but the Cornerstone, it's the beauty of a Bordeaux blend is that you can blend for the season. If the weather changes, and it always does, and you can blend for all the parts of that wine that you want. If you want color, you got your Malbec and your Petit Verdot. If you want the tannins, Cabernet Sauvignon is wonderful to have the tannin. If you want a full distilled wine, the Merlot gives that to it. And those violet notes, and the Petit Verdot, and the spice is Malbec. And so that's what's so special about a Bordeaux style blend. And that's what I wanted to make. I wanted to have a chance to put it all together my way and for the season. And every year it just changes on me, so I got to try a new one. So it's super fun to do.
It's definitely, and I think that's what keeps your people coming back for more, because you never know you never know, you know the style, but you never know the little intricacy of each and every single wine. How many wine club members do you have now on your list?
I think we're at about 2,300.
2,300. So this is a pretty good base when you're talking about 4,000 cases.
Yeah.
So now, are you expecting? Well, we're all expecting things to reopen up pretty nicely this summer. So we cross our finger that we can bring our member to the tasting room as much as we can, because you guys have a beautiful spot. Do you guys are planning to reopen like when the capacity reopen? Are you guys going to stay a little bit like maybe like smaller attendance to just provide as much as possible, like the experience, or you want to open up and bring as many people as possible?
Yeah, when COVID came, so before COVID came, we used to do all of our tastings in our tasting room here, and it could get pretty packed at times. But when COVID came, we had to move outside, so we developed our landscape garden in kind of a tasting garden, and we limited our capacity. We had health guidelines that we had to stick by, and that worked really well. People loved the one-on-one personal experience, and I think as we go into the future, we're going to be sticking with that model. I'd like to have a little bit of both if I could. When the weather's kind of not as nice, it's nice to invite people in, but that was the challenge. Some of those windy, rainy days, which we don't really get very many of, but it's a bit of a challenge. But yeah, people are loving that outside garden experience, and they're looking out on the vineyard and the river and the mountains, and enjoying the wine. And all my staff are amazing too, right? They give you that experience, right? So they love wine, they love people, right? So what could be better, right?
There's that feeling of family in there, and that's what I was telling Mira. Like the timing to feature a family-run winery right on family long weekend, and hitting Monday where we launched the offer, and right on family day. So it was so timely. Things fell on the perfect day. And is that, well, we know you have 2 sons, I believe, and is all of the family is involved in the winery operation, or your boys are like, nope, I'm not, this is not something they're interested in?
Well, I've got 2 boys and a daughter. My daughter's 18, and they've all been helpful. My daughter used to drive around and on the golf cart or walking with her friend, and they taste the grapes and they tell me which row was ready for picking, right? And then one of my boys loves tractor work, so he'd be the guy in the tractor, and the other guy, he loved to make money, so he was out pruning for me. So over the years, yeah, we've had them all out there, and now a couple of them are off in various places, but I hope maybe one day they wander back here. We'll see how it goes. But
you'll see how it goes. That's for sure. Hey, let's bring Mira in the conversation. I'm sure she's dying to ask you a few questions here.
Yeah, no, you always spring this on me, Carl. I'm just listening and I'm fascinated. And I think it's great what you're doing. It's always when I hear about the kids, we have 3 too. So when I heard you have 3, I'm like, oh yeah, welcome to the 3 club. So it's really great to see that they were, a part of it. Brought me back to, Carl and I got to experience harvest a little bit this last harvest. We'd never done that before. And we're city kids, right? So we came to the Okanagan early last summer, and like everything is new and shiny and exciting. And we got to do the harvest at Black Market in Kaleden, small town. So they had like 2 of the neighbors helping out. They had the town priest was coming by for half the day and helping pick the grapes. A lot of fun. And I just remember the kids running around helping us out. It was awesome. So
yeah,
I think it's a beautiful thing. It's community. Like, what drew you to winemaking in the first place, Ted?
I think it was just, I was really an outside kind of kid. I loved, being outside, growing things. I loved chemistry, and my mom and dad had a big interest in wine, so I would have a chance to try wine on special occasions. And just being able to have something you grow, put it in a bottle, and save it for another day is pretty special. And wine is probably the most special of all. So I think that's what kind of got me interested. And I love the chemistry. I love fermentation. I love the outdoors. It's farming at heart, and you get to be an engineer, an electrician, and a carpenter, and you get all the good stuff as far as I'm concerned, right? It's all fun.
Pretty amazing.
Yeah, I'm just looking at the comments here on the chat, and the members are talking about that you have a guest suite or a guest place at the Vineyard. Am I reading that right?
Yeah. We so our original house when we moved to the property was this 800 square foot little home. It was underpowered and under everything, and my wife cried for the first couple of days, but the land is what it was all about, right? So over the years we had renovated it many times, and I've had mothers-in-law lives in it, and my mom lived in it, and then a few years back we converted it over to the cottage. And so it's a really nice sort of self-contained place with a great big balcony and all the amenities you could use for tasting wine in the South Okanagan. Super dog friendly. We got a yard that fences it in, and so if you bring a pooch along, you could, he'll be safe in the yard. And so it's a lot of people are loving it, especially with COVID. You don't have to be too close to anybody, but you're still in a vineyard, and it's a good spot.
Is it exclusively for your wine club members, or let's say if we have members traveling your way this summer, is it something available?
Well, we offer it out to the wine club members first, and that's part of our wine club, is so they get first dibs on all things we do. And so then we open it up to our very large email list, and so it fills up. So you do need to book a fair bit in advance, but with COVID, we often get cancellations, that kind of thing. People don't feel 100% safe in the world these days. So you never know when something's going to open up. But so I would say just give us a call at the office and check on your dates and see if you can get in.
Yeah, it's always a great extra to talk about. That might be something we're going to mention in our email tomorrow, Mira, for our people to look out if they're planning to travel, because I think people are going to start traveling like in a larger amount this summer. I feel like people are getting the hits to get back to the wine country. That's for sure.
Yeah. I think
I see a couple people tuning in right now say they're visiting probably June or July. So that's awesome. And Leslie, if you're coming out this way, I see you there visiting in July. I hope we can meet up. That will be amazing to see you.
So one more thing, Ted, before I let you go, you mentioned that your parents had the love for wine. So if you remember when you look at your dad's wine collection or whatever kind of wine, which kind of wine your dad used to drink?
Well, they had everything when I look back. They had the German, Rieslings and Gewürztraminers, and they would also have some wines from California. And then, of course, some wines from France, I remember as well, too. I didn't, I can't remember names and dates and stuff on them, but I know they were, they had the whole representation. There was always a Chardonnay in there. And so, yeah. It was nice.
So when you don't,
he did well.
when you don't drink your wine, if you drink international wine, what do you drink?
You know, I had the great fortune to go to France a couple of years ago, and so I've been drinking some really nice French wine. You know, and I have a real affinity to that Bordeaux region, so the Saint-Emilion region up there. You know, something. You know, when I get a chance to, right? I like. Yeah, so I have a
Why
special
not?
bottle waiting for me. It's a Chateau Cheval Blanc, and I'm waiting and waiting to open up that one, but we'll see. Someday.
Okay, so if yeah, okay, that is a very, very special bottle of wine. Very, very special bottle. So yeah, I can see a Cornerstone, one of your top Cornerstones side by side with the Cheval Blanc. That can make it up for a very special evening. That's for sure.
Absolutely, you bet. Yeah. Yeah.
Ted, I really appreciate your time. Thank you so very much for jumping in tonight, saying hi to our member, introducing who you are. It's greatly appreciated. We greatly appreciate also to be working with your wines. They are tremendous. I give a 93 points to the Sauvignon Blanc, best Sauv Blanc that I tasted this year. And Cornerstone, 92 points. Truly, I believe, with the roundness, the richness of it, a little bit New World style. I like the precision of the stone throw as well. And your Malbec has a great long-term potential. So thumbs up, Dad. You're doing a great job there. We are excited to follow you long-term. I want to see this couple Cornerstone aging in my cellar, see what it's going to look like in 5 or 6 years. But thank you so much for your partnership this week.
Yeah. Well, thank you guys. And thanks to all, you know, we invite you guys back again, of course, and all your members. We'd love to see you out and give you a real personalized experience, and come check out the place. And we've got a few more wines in the portfolio than the ones you have tonight. And but it's very similar in style. And I know you guys had a chance to try the Cab Franc recently, and I'm glad you featured that at one point. Well, thank you very much. And but
we sure did. It also really shined that day during the Cab Franc day. Absolutely.
Great. Well, thanks a lot, you guys. It's been great talking to you, and thanks everybody. And cheers to everybody.
Cheers.
Cheers to a great evening.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Thank you. And we'll see you very soon. I'm sure we're going to swing by very soon.
Okay. Sounds good.
Definitely.
Hopefully we'll see you this weekend at Baldy, if you have time to swing by and do a little bit of skiing with us.
Okay. All right. Well, I'll come look for you. Okay.
Awesome.
Thanks, guys. Yeah, and hey, you guys, we open up in April, so come on out to the wine shop in April, and we'll start checking things out.
Perfect. Thank you. Thanks, Ted.
Thanks, Ted. Well, that was fun. It's always super interesting hearing these stories that you kind of read something, but it's not the same impact as meeting the person behind the winery and hearing those stories. Hey, Carl?
Absolutely. I like it. You know, like Ted's still a young winemaker. Ted, like I just can picture in 15 years the style of wine that he like when his vines are even older, when like all of that whole operation gets to 20, 25 years old, these wines will be absolutely unbelievable. I'm so happy that we had a chance to discover them at an early stage of what we're doing, so we can see the progression. But 4,000 cases, it's very small, but very big in the same time. There's such a great number of members versus production. I like the business model. What it is,
I think, is what you see when wineries get bigger than 5,000 or 10,000 cases. I don't know if they can have the same level of, focus on the small batch winemaking techniques and all that kind of stuff. And it's a little bit different, isn't it?
Well, and also like we're just talking about like listen, like the Malbec, right? Mm-hmm. Like the Malbec, he's at 250 cases right now. So this is like small batch wine. And to me, what's interesting at that very level, it's the attention to detail that Ted, as a winemaker, as an owner, he knows every single of his vines. And now he's planting a little bit more. So now adding some different rows from a different acre of vines coming up in the next couple years. So like the understanding of his land. Like it reminds me a little bit of the conversation we had with Sal D'Angelo. You know, Sal had something like that, like a 5 or 6 acre behind his house. He knows every single row of like every single vines in each and every row, which like so. And I just like that's the feeling that I have with Ted, right? He knows in and out the full the full vision and the everything on his land. So it's really cool. And I'm getting so interested in what's going on with Malbec from the south of the Okanagan and seeing the production growing. And now he's planting another acre and see that production growing in the next few years. It will be great to see the evolution of his Malbec program. So yeah.
Yeah, because we've got in this pack the Malbec Rosé and the Malbec.
Absolutely. And these Malbecs are not available anywhere. Like you mentioned, right? 2,500 people on their wine club. It's a lot. Like if you say like a case per member a year, which is not a lot, now you're ending up with only have 2,000 cases available for the tasting room and for the for the rest of the people who are gonna fight like dogs to get their hands on these beautiful wines. So yeah, it's Lisa, and the fun part with that, no, it's not the Malbec Rosé, it's the Syrah Rosé. The fun part is it's coming from that new vineyard. So now it's estate fruit. But yes, that Malbec Rosé, to me, the Malbec Rosé it's serious rosé. To me, it's herbaceous. It's the complexity in there. I'm not saying that it's not good on its own on a patio on a warm day. That's not what I'm saying, because the bright acidity, the mouth-watering acidity speak for itself. But to me, it's the complexity and also how food-friendly this wine is. How great. My background in restaurant, hotel, and fine dining, when I see a wine like that, I can see like hundreds of pairing possibility options. Like my mind goes with like from oyster all the way to tartare, or I can see like any salad possible, like crab salad or lobster salad, or like there's so many things that you can do with that rosé. So this is another very exciting wine. Exciting brand. And another thing, like they don't do like 15, 20 different kind of wine. They are focusing on a smaller type of portfolio, and everything is so well made.
Yeah, that's wonderful. I remember, Lisa, when we were tasting with you guys, we tried 8 or 9 wines, and we loved them all. It was crazy. I think
remember Merlot, white Merlot sparkling?
Yes, I think they're the only ones that make a white Merlot, like in BC. Yeah,
there's a few other who make the white Merlot, but making it a sparkling style, I'm not sure if there's any other who makes it sparkling style of white Merlot. Not sure about that. I should have asked him. I forgot, but yeah.
Yeah.
So a few more here. Jesse Taylor is saying that the Malbec Rosé is what made me become a wine club member at Riverstone.
Jesse, not Taylor, but
Jesse Toby.
I know, small writing. It's all good.
Yeah, sorry.
Yes.
Yeah. So here we go. Anyhow, so this is our Riverstone offer for this week, ending tomorrow night. 10 p.m. Western Pacific time. So another day to get your hand on some 2018 Cornerstone flagship wine, the Bordeaux blend, a little bit more new style, a new world style. The Stone Troll 2018 vintage as well, 75%, 73% Merlot, Cap Franc, Cap Sauv, and Malbec. It's the Stone Troll, a little bit more restrained, precision. There's some tension and energy in that wine. Bright, beautiful minerality. I like the cassis and the licorice on that wine. 91 plus points. To me, that's That's a little snapshot of Bordeaux right there. So it's fun to do Stone Throw versus Cornerstone, two style of heritage. And when we're saying side by side, we just talk about the two rosés, right? The Syrah rosé, oh, it's like cherry in the glass. Easy drinking, fluffy, a little bit like the happiness in the glass versus the seriousness of the Malbec rosé. Just looking at the color and the bottle shot that we have right there are really accurate. The Malbec is deeper, darker, and it's absolutely the same in the bottle. A little bit more serious, fuller body, herbaceous. So very two different styles of rosés, and it's not necessarily a rosé that has to be drank during the hot day of summer. Like the Syrah rosé, it's the perfect little spring rosé, and the Malbec rosé, this is a all year round. To me, that's my winter rosé, the one with the meal, the one with the serious like pork cutlet or veal ossobuco or something like that. So serious Malbec rosé here right in the glass. I loved as well their 2019 Malbec, just like others 2019 from the south of the Okanagan. I love that vintage. Like Ted was mentioning, a little bit cooler of a vintage. It's not that big, warm 2015 style opulence. It's more about a little bit about that tension, flower, and lots of complexity. So I really enjoyed that Malbec. I'm at 91 plus point as well with that Malbec. And the Sauvignon Blanc, the unique Sauvignon Blanc. Yeah. Well priced, like a $22 Sauvignon Blanc. I gave it a 93 points. This is the highest scored wine. Probably Ted will shake his head and say, what? I'm putting all of this energy in my flagship wines, but this wine to me was a revelation. I was like, wow, the purity of the fruit, but the texture coming out of that, a beautiful minerality as well with tropical fruit, an absolute hit. This is gonna be a real hit for spring and summer. And I can't wait to taste the next vintage of that to see the difference because now I am a fan of their Sauv Blanc and I want to go every vintage and try the difference. So I'm hooked. I totally love what they're doing. Special site, beautiful estate, beautiful tasting rooms. So Cars Wine Club members, if you guys come in this area, you'll have to swing by and say hi to Ted and the family at the tasting room.
Totally. And speaking of this, we are going to send a save the date, probably Friday or Saturday. But if you're tuning in, jot these dates down. So for BC, we're doing our members party. If you guys recall, or if you're a new member, this is maybe new information. So last year, Carl and I tasted like 800 plus wines from all over Canada. And we put those in through the club as features. And then we took the close to 50 wineries that we featured in the club. And we looked at what are some of the qualities of the top wineries, the most popular, the ones that had the best service, the ones that, members just loved and they kept asking about, kept posting about. And so we shortlisted 3 from BC and 3 from Ontario. And then all you members voted on our top winery of the year. So we gave an award to Black Market out of Caledon, BC for our #1 BC winery last year. And we gave an award to Bellaterra, Pondview Bellaterra in Ontario. And the fun thing is that when we let these 2 wineries know that they'd won the award, they instantly were like, oh, well, we want to meet our counterpart on the other side of the country. So, so we're going to throw a party. Again, this was an idea someone threw out in one of these lives. I think it was Bryn. One of our members said, hey, we should throw a party at each winery, and whoever's from the West Coast come to the BC one, whoever's from out East come to the Ontario one. And so the dates are set. So let me open the calendar so I don't get you wrong on these dates. And then we'll
June 3rd, I believe.
Friday, June 3rd is BC.
So at Black Market Wine Company in Killeden, BC, Friday, June the 3rd, we're going to do the Western Canada, the BC Okanagan Valley Carl's Wine Club members party.
And the Bellaterra people from Ontario are coming to that one.
So
their winemaker,
Marcel Morgenstern, Lou, the owner, and Fred DePorfio, the winemaker, 3 of them are flying out to come to the party at Black Market. This is, if it's not cool, I don't know what it is, but this is pretty darn cool.
So you guys have to join us if you are visiting the Okanagan around then, or if you live close enough that you can come out for a day trip, you should. And we'll see how many of us are interested when we send the date out this weekend, the save the date. And then we might be doing, you know, a bus tour or whatever it is we want to do. And then the next one is June 24th, Friday, June 24th, 3 weeks later, we're out in Ontario at Bellaterra. So dates.
Partying at Bellaterra in Niagara on the 24th. This time, Rob Amersley, owner, winemaker, and his wife are going to fly out to Niagara. So Black Market will be attending the party at Bellaterra. The Bouchers, Mira, Carl, the 3 kids, we're going to spend a week in Niagara for that week. It's going to be epic. It's going to be the Carl's Wine Club Niagara tour. I can't wait for that. So these 2 dates, June 24th, Friday in Ontario, June the 3rd, a Friday here in BC, Killeden, BC. So Carl's Wine Club members, write these dates down. So we have people traveling cross country for this party. It's going to be absolutely epic.
Rob the Hammer is going to be in Niagara. That's right, Mike.
It sure will. It sure will. So it's going to be fun. So that's what we're building. That's what we're building, that sense of community. And we are so freaking thrilled to make that happen. I know that we're going to brainstorm with Rob in the next week or so, which kind of party we're going to throw, what do we want to do. But yeah, send us an email if you guys.
We need your input. We need your brainstorming for sure. We've already heard from some members saying it would be handy to have a bit of a wine club, Carl's Wine Club, you know, chauffeur of some sort, whether that's a bus or who knows what, and to do a little bit of touring together, because that's one thing that I get so a little bit of regret when Carl and I go out touring. We get to see the coolest things, and I just wish I can share it with you guys. So that's why we do our videos sometimes. We try and share, but it'd be so special to have the chance to do some of this in person too.
Exactly. So it's going to be pretty cool. Speaking about Bellaterra Pondview, next week, this upcoming Monday, we are going value feature. So we've been featuring packs around the $200 mark for the last couple of weeks. We're going value. We're going back with Burnt Ship Bay next week. A free shipping for 12, including some special glass that Marcel made, Burnt Ship Bay. So 4 different wines: the Reserve Red, the Merlot Cab, the Pinot Grigio, and the Sauvignon Blanc. Wine, $16 wines. 3 of them are at $16. The Reserve Red is at $19. So tax in. These are some of the best $16 to $19 wines that we've tasted. Now we're jumping into the new vintages. The whites are 2021 vintage. The Merlot, the Cab Merlot is 2020, and the 2019 for the Reserve. So we're going into that value feature next week. Hopefully, if you guys need to stock up on party wine, or if everyone needs a case of more affordable wines in the cellar, or handy to open up at any time of the week, or to open up at 2 o'clock at night when you have a party and you are now at bottle number 6 or 7. So yeah, value offer coming your way on Monday.
Yeah.
And what else special coming up? Oh, industry party this weekend. This is the 14th annual Winemaker Cup here in the Okanagan Valley at Mount Baldy in Osoyoos. So Carl's Wine Club is going to represent. Carl's Wine Club is going to be on site with the kids for a day of skiing, and I think there's 43 wineries represented. It's going to be a huge after ski party at the hill with wines, and there's some races during the day. Lots of hotel room has been booked at the Walnut Hotel, at the Walnut Club Resort. So it should be a heck of a weekend down in Osoyoos. We'll be there. I can't wait. It's going to be super fun.
So the point being, if you're in the industry, we might see you down there. And if you're not, we'll report back on like winemakers are bringing some of their tank samples and new releases and things like that. So
that was my point. That was my point. With some salty information about the party. We'll see. We'll see if anything crazy happens. We'll see.
Or we'll get ideas for our Carl's Wine Club one.
Absolutely. We must have reports.
I know, and checklists, and we'll get the whole thing, graphs.
That stone throw, actually, that stone throw is showing very, very, very well right now.
Yeah, this is always the, second day in the glass, or you close it.
Yeah, that is an absolute beauty. I just love the minerality. I love the precision, the cassis. I love the licorice part of it. That is very, very well made. So yeah, so here we are. So
that's right. The reports are a perk. Well, there was quite outrage in the group this last week because I think you, Carl, someone shared a Decanter article and it was behind a paywall and you couldn't see the scores from Decanter unless you paid them. I don't know what it was, $1.99 or something. Everyone was outraged. So yes, we don't charge for our reports, Mike. That's right.
Yeah. And I was telling Mira a couple of weeks ago, I don't know, maybe I should do a rating reports every year so I can charge for it. And I think I got my answer right there. No, you don't charge for your rating reports, Carl.
That was back in the day of Robert Parker because he was the first one that did it. So it was kind of special. But right? I think it was in the 80s that he started.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely.
Yeah. And he was mailing it to people, which, physical copy. But what we might do one day is two things we've been thinking about. All ideas from you guys. You guys have the best ideas on these lives. So one was a coffee table book. That might be fun, of things we've discovered and tasting notes and fun things from the last year. And the other thing is just something I cooked up in my head. Carl has this shirt from Italy with a whole bunch of wine bottles on it. And I thought we need to take every single bottle we taste in a year and put them on a shirt. That would be cool.
That would be pretty darn cool, actually. I like your idea. So
it'd be like the tacky tourist shirt for Canadians at barbecues.
The Canadian wine lovers shirt, for God's sake.
Right?
Hey, world-class Canadian wine. Boom.
Mike's in. I think Mike's in. So thanks.
Mike's in. Mike, by the way, I have to say thank you to Mike. Mike is the average wine enthusiast. If people are listening and you're looking for a cool YouTube channel to listen at and learning more about wine, not in a school, like a classroom environment, in a very cool way to talk about wine, he's the guy. Listen to him. I love what he does. And he over a year ago, I received a bottle by mail. It was a bottle of Moussadre. So from Lake Erie North Shore, Dre is a small Italian family-run winery. And I had that bottle, to be honest, almost a year in my cellar. And I finally decided to open up like 4 or 5 weeks ago. The wine was absolutely amazing. We contacted, well, actually Mike was pestering the winery to contact us, and we became in the contact with Melissa at the winery. Now we're going to feature them in March. We tasted last night the Cabernet Franc, which was absolutely fantastic. The Syrah was my number 3 Syrah of the international Syrah. They out of 33, number 3, 94 points. So that Dre are making some killer wine. That Cab Franc for $19, it's absolutely surreal. So Mike, thanks for that connection. Thanks for introducing us to this winery. We are so excited to feature it in the club in less than a month from now. So this is all you, Mike, the average wine enthusiast. Thank you, my friend. Greatly appreciate the connection.
Yes. And Lisa, if you're still on, thank you and Jared so much for introducing us to Riverstone. And I hope y'all get to experience Riverstone and maybe stop by this summer.
Absolutely. If you guys are coming our way this summer in the Okanagan, let us know so we can see if we can connect with you in person, maybe like direct you to some of our favorite wineries, some people that we know will treat you just like we should treat our members. So that's mean top notch. So yeah.
Yeah, for sure. And in the meantime, get a tasting pack from Riverstone and check it out because it's definitely worth it. Especially that Sauv Blanc, my favorite, but the reds are amazing. Everything from there is so good. So
great family-run winery. So Mira Boucher, are you ready to go get some? Are you ready to go get some chili?
I am. Yes.
Yeah.
Oh, Daryl, you made it. I hope you're taking a break from that stressful basement situation you've got.
Yes. Yes.
I hope the wines survived. I hope the wines are okay.
Absolutely. Oh, did we tell people we also did last week? A member, Kelly, came to our house with a bottle of Puyi Fusé. We opened a bottle of Pearl Marisette 2017 versus one of the top end Puyi Fusé. It was a $48 Puyi Fusé versus the Pearl Marisette, and that was a heck of a tasting. That Puyi Fusé was amazing. Again, not that
the
level.
That is in a different league, though.
Yeah,
but it was. They were both fantastic wines. It's just
that was a great afternoon tasting. Verdict. Oh, verdict with okay, let's see. Pearl Marisette was a couple points above the Puyi Fusé. I like the purity of the Puyi Fusé, but it didn't have the same complexity. It didn't have the same finish. That was a great concentration. Usually for me, Puyi Fusé was a good by the glass in the restaurant. It's a great snapshot of a very specific region, a village in France. But it's not the Meursault. It's not the Montrachet. It's always a little cousin, right? This one was probably the best Puyi Fusé I've tasted. It was really like, you don't have a lot of Puyi Fusé around the $50, and it was really good, but it didn't made it to the level of the Pearl Marisette. Definitely not. And I have to say, it was not even close, right? It was not completely disproportionate, but it was not close. So again, our Pearl Marisette still. I have a bottle of 2017 now, Meyer family, Meyer Estate from Okanagan Fall. I just got a beautiful 6-pack of all of their new 2020, but there's a bottle of 2017 McLean Creek in there. So obviously price point is completely different. I think we're talking about a $40 versus a $65, but my next experience with Pearl Morissette will be side by side with Meyer. What I want to do, I want to find a bottle of 2017 Meyer Micro Cuvée. That might be maybe the equivalent of the BC head-to-head, same price point. So in terms of Chardonnay, so we'll see if I can get my hand on a 2017 of the Micro Cuvée.
That would be awesome. See, when we said, oh, we'll get what, a case of that Pearl Morissette 2017, just because after we featured it and you said it was 98 points, the price went up by like $20. So we got ourselves a case of it. And now I'm thinking we needed 2 or 3 cases, because there's so many fun things you can do when you find a wine you love. You can compare it to other ones and learn. And
before I let you go, Canadian wine lover, I have a funny story for you. When we did a pretty big order from Pearl Morissette, we got access to the Black Ball. So Riesling Black Ball is one of their flagship wine, the 2015. So Mira and I said, okay, let's buy 3 bottles of the Black Ball and let's put them aside. Maybe we can have 1 a year. So for the next 3 years, we can like check the evolution and see how much greater this wine can become. Well, guess what? There's only 1 bottle left of the Black Balls out of the 3, and we received our order less than 2 weeks ago. So I don't know. I'll have
so many good occasions to open a glass of wine that you're excited about, right?
Absolutely. So another fun stories from the boucheries to you guys. So on this beautiful Wednesday night, we will go feed our kids, and we have some pictures to take. We have a couple more wines to taste tonight, to do more tasting notes. We have to revamp the Times offer on Carl Cellar. So lots of work in front of us tonight.
So get one of those fun labels out. Which one is like our night? Those fun ones.
They are. I put them out. 1 second here.
Okay. Carl's gonna pick a wine label that represents his feelings right now. Glad you made it, Kelly. That's awesome. It was so cool to see. We were just telling everyone about the Puy Frisé you brought over and tasting it side by side with the Pearl Morissette. And I'm kicking myself, Kelly, because we never took a picture of the 2 bottles. But maybe if you send me a picture of yours, I'll get a picture of mine. We can make a post.
Hey. So, early on when we started Carl's Wine Club, we did a feature with Church and State, and they have their other brands, the Lost Inhibition brand. For people in BC, maybe you know a little bit about the Lost Inhibition. So well-priced wines, like $20 wines, red, white, rosés. The reds are a blend of Merlot, Cab Franc. The whites is a blend of, I think, Chardonnay, Viognier, like a nice, well-rounded blend. Same thing with the rosé. But they have these fun,
it's a different
labels,
on
right?
Every bottle. It's a different one every time.
So
Big time
here,
boogie. That's how you feel tonight? Big time boogie?
Or, okay, that's how I feel.
My body is ready. Oh, yeah. Okay.
Or, no, I don't feel like that. I felt like that a little
Mr.
earlier.
Hangry? Well, yeah.
Or, you know what?
Dinner before that.
You know what?
0 fucks given. Oh, sorry. 0 given. Sorry. They put a little
0 fuck given. Or is it how we
internet famous? Yes.
Boom!
I think our kids think we're internet famous.
Coming your way at the end of March. At the end of March, we're gonna do a fun pack. Every single bottle have a different quote. The wines are delicious. The wines are $20. We're going Lost Inhibition at the end of March is going to be a fun thing. I want to do something, a contest on our social media. Let's blow up our social media with fun quotes and some stuff like that. I don't know. We need to think about something with the Lost Inhibition. That's for sure. So yeah. So that's how I feel. That's how I feel.
My body's ready for sleep. Yeah. Awesome.
Canadian wine lovers, Carl's Wine Club members, to all of you guys, thank you for tuning in tonight. Hope you enjoy our conversation with Ted Kane from Riverstone Winery. The pack is available until tomorrow. We appreciate you a lot. Enjoy your wine. And let's chat on Friday. I'm going to be live Friday night.
What?
With Casey, the winemaker at Westcott Vineyard. We're going to taste the three packs of Terroir Pinot, the Butler's Grand, the Carolines Block, the Reserve. So we're tasting Pinot Noir on Friday night with Casey, the winemaker.
That's awesome. I think it just got confirmed or something. I didn't realize.
Yes. I was in touch with Casey this afternoon. Sorry, you're busy doing your thing. You're busy, like you were really busy. So
I had a nap. That's what happened. Okay. Have a great night, you guys. Cheers.
Cheers.